All right, welcome back here to the Xfinity Sports Report, your Colorado high school connection. Brian Roth back with you. Time to talk some wrestling, and we do it with Tim Yount of On the Mat. He has all the rankings. Tim, great to see you. Get any sleep last night?
Not very much. Post-wrap takes a long time. It's a lot of fun, but I've been working through the night trying to get ready for a lot of stuff today that I got to get out to people. So
yeah, absolutely. It's always fun. I mean, listen, state wrestling, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the Pepsi Center in Denver, of course, wrapped up at the state championships last night. So much fun. If you've never been there, get out one year and do it. You got to put that on your bucket list. We're going to cover 4A and 5A on this program. But starting 4A and the team race, you and I talked earlier in the week. I mean, we knew this was going to be tight coming down the stretch. I don't know if we knew it would be this tight, though. Windsor wins it, holding off the two-time defending champs, Pueblo County, and then Pueblo East. I mean, have you seen a race this tight?
In 4A, with 3 teams, no. 2 teams, yes. And what made this really suspenseful, especially for the people from 2 teams, County and Windsor, which were the 2 teams I thought would really be in the mix, Windsor didn't have a kid make weight at 106.
Yeah.
Who carried points for them. So they started the day in a deficit from that perspective, and so we knew it was going to be a tight race after that.
Yeah, and it's certainly proved to be a very tight race. And how about Windsor? They hadn't won a state wrestling title since 2012, and the Wizards, when all was said and done, they took home the 4A state crown. Entering Saturday's championship matches, Windsor knew they had some work left to do.
Go Eagles!
Go County!
The Wizards trailed Pueblo East by 9 points and had two-time defending champion Pueblo County right on their heels. And with 4 wrestlers heading to the mat in championship bouts, a title was in sight. The Wizards would capture their first individual state championship at 113s. Freshman William Bombar would get a crucial 3-2 win over Pueblo East's Andrew Lucero in a key early match. Then at 126, all eyes were on Dominic Serrano. The sophomore entered the match with a 33-0 record and having never lost a match in his high school career. That would not change Saturday night as Serrano got the 24-7 tech fall over another Pueblo East wrestler in Brian Roth, and Serrano completed the second leg of his quest to become a 4-time champ.
It means the world to me. The bond we all have, you know, it's like having 13 more brothers on the team, and you know, that means a lot to me to go to school, knowing that I have people that love me there too, and I'm not alone. So that's what Windsor means to me. It means everything.
Then at 170s, the Wizards would take the lead they would not relinquish. Isaiah Salazar would be the man to step to the mat. The sophomore pinned Jason Davis of Pueblo County in 2:57 to give the Wizards their first lead of the night. And Windsor would hold on. They would edge out Pueblo East by a half point and two-time defending champ Pueblo County by 1.5 points as the Wizards take down their first wrestling title since 2012.
Well, those 2 guys, I mean, we didn't speak of that. We didn't speak of that, you know. I told all the guys, take care of yourself first. You take care of you, your goal, and you. And if there's some chances there, then you can try helping the team out that way.
All right, so congratulations to those Windsor Wizards. They pulled out a state championship. And how about Dominic Serrano there at 126? I mean, Tim, here's a kid who now a sophomore, 2 state titles, has never lost a high school match.
Never lost a high school match. And that says something because Windsor's schedule is really good. They travel out of state. The kid is now 85-0. And so we've only had one other 4-time state champion who's been undefeated, and that was a kid from Arvada West many years ago. So we'll see if he can continue it. It's going to be a really hard thing with Windsor's schedule, but we'll see.
All right, so there's other storylines in Class 4A. I mean, they were abounding everywhere. And let's start with 106, and it was Brandon Garcia. And Garcia's a kid who's only a junior. He wins his 3rd consecutive state title. He's on track.
He is on track. He is one of the best in the nation. He came down from 113. That's the other thing. He shifted down, felt more comfortable. He was pretty light for 13. So he did it, actually came away with a really hard-earned state title, an overtime win over Pueblo Centennial there.
Yeah, Jacob Gonzalez of Pueblo Centennial, and a great match, and congratulations there to Brendan Garcia taking it down there. How about at Greeley Central and Andrew Alirez, 145. He has now won 3 consecutive state titles, and he closed out this year undefeated at 30-0.
He did, beast mode. The kid is an animal. Again, another one of those guys, nationally known. He travels the country, incredible support from a community of Greeley. He's going to be a really, really hard kid to beat in the next 2 years. Unless you have a match with another undefeated kid or a kid that has quite a record, he's going to be one of those guys you're going to look at getting his fourth.
One of the things that I love about high school wrestling, and we talk about some of the guys that have won multiple state titles, we talk about some of these team state champions, but you look at the sheer emotion of some kids that have worked so hard and have finally won a state championship. And that was on full display. Cheyenne Mountain's Mike McFadden at 138 defeated Jackson Garut of Pueblo County. And the emotion says it all there. Finally gets a state championship. Let's go ahead and take a look at his reaction after the match.
You seem happy.
Yeah.
You seem real happy.
I'm very happy.
How you feeling, man? I know it's happy.
There's no better feeling than this. Oh my God. Yes, baby. Yes, dude, I did it.
What's
up, man? Go ahead.
Come here, boys. Come here.
Yeah. Good job. Oh my God.
All right, and what can you say there, Tim? I mean, he goes 6th as a freshman. He goes 4th as a sophomore. Runner-up last year. He finally gets the job done.
Yes. It's what they call climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
And climbing the ladder is improving each year as you go up the ladder, and he was able to do that.
Yeah.
And he was an underdog. He's been an underdog all year.
Right.
So to win that title, I think that was also relief. Like I could actually do this and beat some of the guys that were favored to beat me during the season.
Yeah, and you had talked to him earlier in the year when he was kind of down a little bit and the confidence was low, but you had a nice conversation with him.
I really did. Afterward, he had just lost a match. He's sitting in the corner of a gymnasium, right? And I said, Mike, keep your head up. You're going to be fine. He said, I know, I've got time. And I said, yep, get with your coaches, make those adjustments, and see what you can do. So he was able to do that, and sure enough, he was able to win a state title. Now, he also went down in weight, too, which helped him because it made him a little bit bigger for that weight.
Right, and he did that in the middle of the year.
He did that in the middle of the year.
That's great stuff. Mike McFadden, again, of Cheyenne Mountain. All right, Tim, how about some other 4A stories that you were watching last night that kind of piqued your interest that some of the fans out there may not know about?
Well, I think the biggest match, it goes back to that team race, was at 170. The sophomore. A sophomore at 170 is really, really hard to be competitive. He wins by fall over Jason Davis of Pueblo County. That won the title for Windsor, but it also allowed him to be one loss for the season. He lost in Utah, but he's still undefeated in Colorado this year, and so he had a great tournament and clipped it for the Wizards, who really needed his win.
Yep, absolutely. So, hey, congratulations to Windsor again. They take down the state championship again. First title since 2012. All right, Tim, let's switch gears. Let's go to Class 5A. And we knew we'd have a tight race there, too. And again, it wasn't just in 4A with that tight team race. Class 5A as well. You and I talked earlier this week. Pooter could be in the mix there, but the two teams we were looking at, the two-time defending state champs in Pomona, and then, of course, Grand Junction. In the end, the Tigers got the job done.
They did, and in the key match, it was really the swing match. When Pomona didn't win at 106, Grand Junction really needed to win at 13 to cap it off, which they did. It was a crazy match, too. It was the match where it was 5-5, it was 7-5. Marquez of Castleview gets the win. All of a sudden, referee discussion. They take the two off the board. They go back on the mat. They wrestle it. Dawson Collins of Grand Junction now wins the match, and that was what Grand Junction needed to win the title.
Those Tigers of Grand Junction walking away with their 9th state championship in the sport of wrestling. It had been 23 long years, but when the dust had finally settled on the Pepsi Center Saturday night, Grand Junction and the Tigers were state champs once again. Grand Junction overpowered Class 5A, including the two-time defending champion Pomona, taking the title with a score of 151.5, nipping the Panthers by just 5.5 points. And the night got started off on the right foot at the 113-pound weight class, where sophomore Dawson Collins would escape an overtime battle with Castleview's Adrian Marquez.
We needed that match, we needed the win because we're only ahead by 4 points. It's gonna be close. We need as many state champs as we can.
And then the closer, Josiah Ryder. He would seal the deal for the Tigers at 152. After falling as a freshman, Ryder has dominated the state ever since. and the North Carolina State commit capped off his career with his 3rd straight individual state championship and a dominant 11-2 win over Gavin DeGarro of Adams City.
It's awesome. I mean, I don't know, I moved down to Junction, I'm a good wrestler, and ended up building a whole team around the coach, and it was just awesome.
All in all, the Tigers placed 7 wrestlers, and Grand Junction captured their 9th wrestling state championship in school history.
I think the role of head coach is you get too much credit when you win and you accept a lot of blame when you lose, but the truth is my assistants are amazing. Paul Martinez, Joe Meinhardt, great parent backing, and this group of kids has been together a long time. From Pee Wee, they had the dream, we had the dream and vision, and they put in the hard work.
All right, so again, Grand Junction picking up the state championship, and as I mentioned a moment ago, first since 1994. Congratulations to them. Okay, well, the big story in 5A, and really the big story at the Pepsi Center outside of the team races, was in the 5A mats at 145, and Jacob Greenwood of Poudre going for his 4th consecutive championship. He got it done, Tim, but it was not easy.
It was not easy. Matter of fact, if you ask him, and you maybe did, which of the titles was the toughest, he's going to say this match was. He had to win in overtime, and he had to win it on a takedown on the side of the mat, too. So it was a great match, and there was a lot of relief on that young man's face.
Yeah, I mean, he beats Dylan Martinez 4-2 in overtime. Now, he had an overtime match as a freshman, kind of rolled as a sophomore and a junior, but what can you say about Jacob Greenwood? And obviously a 4-timer, he is now in that pantheon of Colorado high school wrestlers.
Yeah, he is. He's the 21st to do it. He comes from a great family, great work ethic. Everybody, if you saw in the stadium, everybody loves the kid. He's just genuine, he's sincere, he's one of those you just love to love. And I was happy for Poudre, I was happy for him, I was happy for his family, he was able to do that.
Yeah, but big congratulations to Jacob Greenwood of Poudre.
I've struggled with believing in myself for a long time, and takes a lot of leaning on God and trusting that He would take care of me, just to believe in myself and wrestle like he made me to. So during this tournament, I haven't really been thinking about my 4th title. I'm just thinking about getting 2018 state title. So yeah, I don't think it's really sunk in.
All right, we heard some comments there from Jake Greenwood. Let me ask you this, Tim, since we have you here. Now, 21st overall, 4-time state champ, but 5 consecutive years that we've had a 4-time state champ. Probably going to get 1, 2, maybe even more than that next year. Why is that? Why the run of 4-time state champs?
I think a combination of things. The one good thing is a lot of coaches are coming back. They're successful in Colorado's high school athletes, wrestle in college, come back, they're starting clubs. Right. And these clubs are really good clubs. And they have great coaches that are working with these kids. And it's not just about what happens in this time of the year. It's what happens in the summer. You win matches in this time of the year through summer wrestling. And I think that's what's happening. We're also getting out there to the competitive tournaments. We're going to Ironman. We're going to Doc Buchanan. We're going to these other great tournaments and proving that we have the mettle to be successful against the other good wrestling states.
Yeah, and talking about a couple of kids who have that medal, who have that pedigree to go on the national stage and even the world stage. Next 2 wrestlers we're going to talk about. So Greenwood becomes the 21st wrestler to win 4 consecutive state championships. A couple will be going for it next year, and let's start with Pomona and Thurius Robeson. Hey, here's a kid that draws the spotlight, doesn't he?
He loves the spotlight. Matter of fact, if you were to say the most energetic, powerfully motivating, crowd-motivating person in the country, it might be him. They know about him in California. They obviously know about him in Colorado as well.
Yeah, he's a confident kid, and again, some people love him, some people might not. Let's hear from the state champion from Pomona.
How's it feel?
Feels great. This is his best one right here. Close, intense match. Had to keep pushing the whole time.
How did you know you had it?
I knew I had the match the whole time. I always think I'm going to win. I never have no doubt in my mind. I know I'm the best wrestler.
And then, of course, another kid will be going for 4 straight next year, and he may be the best wrestler in the state. And probably, Tim, and I'll ask you where he fits within the kind of the pantheon of Colorado high school wrestlers. Talking about Colton Schultz of Ponderosa, pinned his way to his 3rd straight state championship.
Yeah, it wasn't surprising. As #1 in the world, He's
in
gonna,
the world.
In the world now.
In the world.
In the world at the level that he's wrestling, he is the man to beat. And he had a match earlier with probably the second best kid in the world from California, and he beat him 3-2. He is a man of many, many men when it comes to being able to go at the senior level and also be competitive. So I like what he's being able to do. He's going to stay at Ponderosa hopefully that senior year and close out that 4th title.
Yeah, he won a couple at 220 as a freshman and sophomore, and to go and win it 2 years ago as a freshman at 220, I mean, that's almost unheard of, isn't it?
It is almost unheard of, but I think because he had grown up with wrestling, he'd gone to the national level tournaments, his family knew what to do to be competitive, and he was able to get that experience.
All right, so let's follow a few more stories before we run out of time here. And, of course, Castleview had 2 more state champions. Of course, Tate Samuelson at 182. He got the job done. And then how about Malik Heinzelman at 120? Boy, a tough match there at that weight class.
Ohio State bound. They like to see him win that 3rd title. He didn't win. He didn't even place as a freshman. But he is one of the best technicians on a mat I've ever seen. He will be successful to the next level. He's one of those kind of kids.
Yep, absolutely. And then one more name to throw out there, Gabe Dennett of Lakewood. He's going to Stanford, and boy, he was terrific again.
3rd title, not always safe. He got really close to the end. Betts came back on him and got within 1, but he was pretty composed at the end, and when he had to win it, he won it in the closing match.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, listen, thank you so much. Really appreciate your expertise. Again, On the Mat rankings, it's the place to go through COWrestling.com. And thank you so much. Always appreciate it. We'll have to get you on coming up next year.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that's Tim Yount of On the Mat Wrestling. All right, we'll take a timeout, get you back to the hoops following this on the Xfinity Sports Report.